Come.
Sir, hello.
Lieutenant, have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
I've seen your quiz scores so far. You've done well in Common Core, and you've accrued lots of extra credit. Do you think you're ready to move on to company phase?
I do.
Okay. What are your questions so far?
Yes, sir. So based on the reading that you provided me over the long weekend, I came up with a lot of good information, but also some questions.
Okay. What do you have?
Yes, so it looks like for the close air support, CAS, and close combat attack, CCA, they're practically the same thing, right?
Well, they have similarities. They have plenty of differences too. What did you find?
Well, it looks like CAS has more of the capabilities and CCA has more of the flexibility.
That's absolutely right. CAS can provide a lot. Air Force assets are meant to be used in the air, and they have a whole wide range of capabilities that they can use to employ. However, they all take detailed integration, especially when you're talking about using Army and Air Force platforms together. It takes a lot of work. The nice thing about CCA is that it does give you that flexibility because it's all within the Army chain of command. Whenever the Air Force and the Army work together, it's usually as the result of a detailed plan. And so anytime that you have to use close air support when you're not planning on it, it's always going to take away from a mission that was planned for something else.
Okay. So we have CAS that has the capabilities, and that is the Air Force.
Right.
And then we have CCA with more of the flexibility, mainly because it's within the Army's aviation.
Exactly. So with the Air Force, it's always going to be a planned mission, even if it gets diverted. With close combat attack, the CCA, you have that opportunity for the HAU taskings that come up, right? So your use of CCA is not necessarily going to affect somebody else's mission elsewhere.
Okay. And that kind of makes sense. So when I think of the Air Force, it's like a lot of details, a lot of capabilities.
Exactly.
You have that detailed integration. And then when I think CCA, I think Army, quick and deliberate and within our sphere of control.
Yes, that's all correct.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes, I do. So when it comes to JTAC, qualified individuals, or JFO, I get a little confused. So I know JTAC is the Joint Terminal Attack Controller,
right,
and JFO is the Joint Fires Observer, but who does what?
Okay, so that's a good question. It's very important. So especially for the Air Force, there are different types of control. The most restrictive, and the one that requires the most coordination, is Type 1. JTACs, the Joint Terminal Attack Controllers, are the only ones qualified to do Type 1 control. Okay? Especially because it's so hard sometimes for aircraft coming in to acquire their targets. The Air Force wants somebody who's specially trained to help them find what they're supposed to hit.
That makes sense.
JFOs are the result of an agreement between all the different branches of the military, right? That happened because the government wanted people who had more training than the average individual, and they wanted people who had training in both surface-to-surface fires and in helping control aircraft in Type 2 and 3 situations. But the important thing to know is that a JFO still can't do it alone. They provide the information. That information still goes back to a JTAC somewhere who is still talking to the aircraft directly.
Got it. So, sir, let me see if I've got this right. CAS has the capability, you can use fixed or rotary wing aircraft. You have the Air Force overseeing it, and non-JTAC qualified individuals are only part of the equation in an emergency.
Exactly. So for Type 2 and 3, they can provide some information, but it still has to go through the JTAC. The only way you're not going to have a JTAC is if there is a real emergency around and you can't get to them.
Okay. So CAS, JTAC, detailed integration, Air Force, and capability. And then for CCA, we're looking at more flexibility. You have the rotary wing aircraft, all within the Army aviation, right?
Yes.
And then, so for CCA, you don't have to be JTAC and you
No.
don't have to be a JFO.
No, you don't. And that's the really nice thing about it. The good thing about CCA is that it's really just a conversation between whoever has the authority to use the weapons and the helicopter team. So that doesn't have to be a JFO at all. It can be anybody who sees the target and is allowed to engage it.
Great. I think I've got it, sir.
Okay, great. Let me know if you have any other questions, Lieutenant. Good luck in company phase.
Thank you, sir.